Hey everybody, this is Yard King. Doing something a little different today. I haven't posted for quite a long time. I do. If you ever seen any of my previous videos, we have quite a few things, stuff like that going on. Each tree died right there. I'm about to cut it down. A lot of the fruit that I had failed this year because it was, we had a late frost and all the blossoms got jacked up. So, you don't really get a harvest, and it's very ironic. And my title to my video or my channel, Yard King, is very ironic because I don't really eat fruit anymore. I don't really eat plants anymore. I've been influenced by several YouTube people that I appreciate their influence. Dr. Ken Berry, check him out. Homestead How, I think his name is Carrie. Seems like a great guy, great family. And it's pretty much the carnivore diet. So now I don't even know what I'm gonna do if my trees start producing because I don't eat them anymore. I will say that potentially, I've thought about the whole thing where, having, a persimmon or a plum just while it's in season, don't freeze it, don't can it or anything like that, and just eat when it's there and then be done with it. And when it's done, I go right straight back to doing it. I guess I'm really not decided about that. Kind of being like an opportunistic person when it comes to meals. I'm gonna hit this. But I'm across the street, guys. Sorry. So, but the thing with it is generally throughout human history, since, God made the planet, we didn't have refrigeration. We didn't have canning. That wasn't invented for a long time. So people saw food and they ate food. They saw the berries and saw the fruit. And they ate the berries and they just gorged themselves with it until it was gone, and then they didn't have it. I am not a carnivore in the sense that I feel that all meat is, eating all meat for every single person is the only way to go. That's not where I'm at right now. I do feel like it's something that a lot of people should consider. And maybe I'll get into that. But there's some people who are going to be just fine with having, some berries or some fruit. Right now, my wife is doing keto and she's thriving. She hasn't really lost weight because my wife is very strong. She didn't have any weight to lose. She actually has gained weight because she's lifting. And her waist is still small and everything like that. And she'll sit there and lift a very impressive amount of weight for a pretty little woman who's 5 foot, deadlifting like 270 and front squatting like 170, back squatting 185, bench pressing 165. So she's in ketosis. She actually went to the doctor and they checked her urine and they said, hey, you got some ketones in your urine. She said, yep, I'm on keto. But so she still has some. She just has low carbs. For me, I'm having almost no carbs and almost no vegetables. I say almost because in this time period, there's been a few times that very minuscule things that I've had. Maybe I could talk about that too later in the video. I'll just experiment. But So I have actually tried carnivore multiple times and failed. And now I'll go ahead and I'll start talking about this because I was influenced by a lot of the guys on YouTube who I do very much appreciate. And I would try carnivore. Ironically, one of the guys, Homestead How, when I was tried and I wasn't losing weight, I put a message to Carrie from Homestead How, and he's like, hey, I'm not losing weight anymore. I lost some pounds and I stopped losing weight. And ironically, he said, what are you eating? Cheese? And in my head, I was like, actually, yeah, I'm eating cheese. I eat lots of cheese. And even now, I still eat cheese, but I have it less often, in smaller amounts. And lots of times what I do is I have a treat. Like some people, they talk about like a cheat meal. Well, I guess on carnivore, what I have is a cheat meal, but it's still within the diet. Like once a week, I might have like a carnivore pizza and have loads of cheese in that day. But on everyday use, I don't have it. They have some natural proteins in there that actually will cause the baby cow to want to eat more. Makes them hungry, wants them to eat more, milk, more cheese. They don't eat cheese, but cheese comes from milk. So, yeah, I mean, if you eat cheese, you end up eating more. So that was one thing. The other hiccup that I had when I tried like 3-4 times of doing carnivore is that I would feel very crampy, and I would just cramp, and I would be on the toilet and I would start cramping. My abs would cramp, my legs would cramp, and it'd be very, very hard. And so I was very intentional this time to have way more salt than I thought. I bought Element, which is a very expensive thing, but it's kind of hard to keep that up unless you just do really well on finances. But it's something you can do. And I've actually went on an anniversary in Tennessee and I forgot the Element, and I didn't have anything, and I started to cramp, and I literally just got some pink Himalayan salt and dumped it in some water, sipped on it, didn't have any more cramps. So I'm not even sure if you need all the potassium and the magnesium. I think it's more about the salt, and so it's not that first in the beginning it's very hard to have enough salt, but your body does adjust and you need less and less, but you still need salt. And in the American diet, you have massive amounts of salt, processed food and everything like that. And so, when you first start, you need tons of salt, and then you don't need as much, but you still need some. You still have to be intentional about it. While as you're on the American processed food diet, you don't have to be intentional about it. You're already getting way too much salt. Your body's retaining way too much fluid. But so that was the other hiccup that I have since resolved. And yeah, those are the two big ones. Cheese and also milk. I still have butter that some people don't have, but I do find with that it doesn't cause me to crave stuff. So when in the beginning of April, I went on vacation to Disney, and I was about 286 pounds. Ridiculous. I'm about 5'10.5". I am underneath the fat, I'm actually very muscular, because even at my time when I had a line going down my stomach when I was about 25 years old and getting married, I was still 220 pounds. And if I had lost like another 10 pounds, maybe 15, I would have had abs. I mean, that's how close I was. So I got very broad shoulders, but 286 pounds is ridiculous. I mean, my 286 is someone else's 240. But saying that, it's still ridiculous. And then after vacation, I remember I was so embarrassed that in the beginning of the week, I was able to fit on all the coasters. And the last day, they tried to put the coaster on me, and I was mad. I was like mad at the person because I didn't feel like they pushed, and they didn't. I could have been on the thing, on the coaster, but they didn't push very hard. They insisted on pushing with just one finger, and not just giving it one good shove for me to get the coaster. And in front of my wife, in front of my family, my kids, I had to go off the coaster in front of all these people that I was too big to ride the coaster. And I was ticked, man. I was ticked. So I got back around, I want to say, around April 10th, I would guess, from all the way to the last day in April. I did like a bridge carnivore diet where I had carnivore, but I had tons of milk. And I had some vegetables, and I actually even had a couple of cheat meals. But even with that, I got all the way back down to 286. And so that's kind of May 1st is when I started the diet. So since that time, well, what's the date? I can't tell exactly. I guess it's like June 28th. Since that time, I have lost, got down to my lowest at 262.4. And the reason I'm saying my lowest is because really that's my third hiccup is if I had a stall, I would give up on the last time. What I'm learning is I've stalled multiple times, not losing. And then all of a sudden, I would just lose. And so I just went to Tennessee and I ate the carnivore diet. But I had massive amounts of meat. I ate tons of food and I didn't care. I didn't care if I gained a few pounds. We went to this, a Brazilian steakhouse, and man, I had like 9 or 10 different cuts of meat. And then I didn't eat the mashed potatoes, I didn't eat all the stuff they tried to bring me. I just ate meat. And I just ate. And I didn't really care because in my head it's like even if I gained a pound or two, it was just gonna boost my metabolism. And then I was gonna go back. And so really, I'm a few pounds up every year. But I think it's one of those things that it's gonna benefit me. And I feel good. That's the thing is like, people don't understand is I feel good. And when I would eat bad food and ate too much of it, I would feel bad. I told my wife, it's like, man, I said, woman, we've been here for 15 years. Every time we ever go to a big restaurant and I eat tons of food, I just want to take a nap. I want to go sleep. I feel tired the rest of the day. I had just as much calories as I ever had. I mean, I ate so much meat. They're like, is he gonna eat more? And then afterwards, I got up. I felt fine. I could have sat there and gone for a 3-mile run right then and there after the meal, and it would have been totally fine. So that's one of the big differences and I'm trying to tell myself, hey, if you have a time where you are stalled, just think how you feel. Do you remember how you felt before? You know, before I felt less energy. Also, they call it brain fog. I don't know, you're just a little slower. My mood is a little off. All these type of things that are very much bad for you. But, you know, I feel good. So who gives a rip if my weight is stalling? And I had a lot more digestive problems. And I think that seems to be a common thing. I don't really like talking about digestive problems, but pretty much, like, I would have intermittent bleeding, and I told the doctor, and it was red. It wasn't like melanus or anything. They said, oh, this could be a hemorrhoid. We're not really too worried about it, but man, I'll fill the pot with red water, and didn't happen all the time. Sometimes it happened like every 2 months. Could be diverticulosis, and then I would get hemorrhoids. Most of the time they were kind of internal, but I had been on the American diet, and when I got on carnivore, one of the first tries, and one of the things I noticed is all the hemorrhoids were gone. And I was like, where did they go? They're always there. And I didn't do any bleeding, every month and a half, 2 months. It was gone. And I went back on the American diet, and all of a sudden my hemorrhoids came back. And all of a sudden, I had a incident or two of bleeding, and now that I'm back on, I haven't had a single instance of either one of those things. Why is that? I'm actually going to try and go this way. Why is that? Maybe we don't need all this fiber. This fiber that I was eating was supposed to be helping me out, but I had way more symptoms with it, and I feel better. And there's like, how are you gonna poop? How are you gonna poop? I still poop like once a day. And before, man, I'd be pooping, man. I have a reputation, man. I'd be on the pot for like 2, 3, 4 times a day. And they were like, oh, that's good. Your colon needs that. And I'm like, I have so many less symptoms. I don't have any problems pooping. I don't have any problems doing that. My first time around, I did have problems, and again, it was because I was eating massive amounts of cheese. Cheese can kind of clot up things, and it would be kind of constipation. Well, this time I have the cheese more sparingly, and if I go one giant meal like once a week, sometimes only every once in a week and a half, it doesn't affect me at all. My sleep is better, and the first week in particular, when I start this diet, I would dream, but if it was a good dream and the dream got exciting, I woke up. It's because I couldn't breathe very good. But now when I go to sleep, especially the first week or two, is even more so the first week or two, but it felt like I was watching a movie. I would be like not wanting to wake up so I could see how it ended. And I could actually see the dream. I felt like I was dreaming the same dream for hours. And I would feel better. So, and I felt it, waking up. And I have the easier time waking up. I feel like the only downsides to this diet is social. There's so many very kind people that are well-intentioned, and they make statements, that they're very supportive, and they'll be like, yeah, this is, I'm glad you're feeling good, and so this is helping you lose weight. But, it's one of those things that you do for a while, and then you just not do it anymore. That you just go back to eating the other way. And I'm like, well, the other way made me feel like crap. You don't know how, if you feel like right now, you feel like, hey, I feel fine. You don't know how bad you feel until you feel good. And then you're like, the whole time is like, this whole time I felt bad and I didn't know it. That's how it is. That's how it is with this diet. Let me see what time it is. I'm good. You don't know how bad you feel. I apologize if the camera's not right on me. I've never really done this before, so be patient with me. So, I do, on this diet, I do work out. I don't work out as much as I like to. My job is very demanding. I don't feel like physically it's demanding. It is kind of. Well, on this diet, I don't have any back pain or anything. I did have some pain before. My feet would be killing me before. My back would be killing me before I was on this diet. I've definitely worked with a lot of pain. I actually had some slip disc in my back. That's according to the chiropractor, which to me was a waste of time. I remember the chiropractor told me, hey, yo, just go to the orthopedic on call right now because you're going to get a back surgery. He told me, make sure you just get a referral to the neuro because you don't want to get done with the orthopedic. And I was like, oh my God, this really happened. And they actually just sent me to physical therapy, and that guy gave me some wonderful advice. He gave me great advice and I did it. And pretty much these particular stretches, he saw the weakness of my back was, and within 3 months I was good as gold, and I kept doing them. I said as good as gold. I didn't have any worries I was gonna hurt my back. But now that I've been on this diet, I won't even feel any pain. You know, so anyhow, yeah. So I feel a lot less pain on this diet. And that's another reason why I just stick with it. You know, we're on my wife's anniversary, and we're at that fancy Brazilian steak restaurant, which is crazy expensive. That's like a one-time a year thing. But when I was on it, we were talking to people beside us, and somehow it got, my wife said, oh yeah, my husband, he doesn't even eat the vegetables. He just eats the, all he does is eat the, what you call it, the meat. And so sure enough, we explained that I was on the carnivore diet, and she said, oh, I used to do that. Of course, her version of the carnivore diet, she ate lots of vegetables too. It was more like the keto diet. She says, yeah, I lost 30 pounds in 30 days, which is, to me, if you're losing 30 pounds in 30 days, maybe that's fine. But potentially, like, you might not be eating enough. I don't care. I don't care how, if it takes me 2 years to lose everything, that's fine. I don't want to become frail afterwards. I'd rather eat more food and lose it slower. But she says, yeah, but when I went back onto, the normal diet, I gained it all back. And I'm like, that's the whole point. If you go and you eat the way that you ate before, if you go back and you do the exact same thing that you did before, then that's insane. You're expecting a different result. And so what I have learned through the scientific means, testing, accidentally tests, is I got unhealthy eating these bad foods. I changed my diet. Started to get healthier, started to feel better. I went back to eating the traditional diet, and guess what happened? I got unhealthy again. And so the solution is to do what makes you feel good all the time. So I don't know, one day I might get an experiment where I have blueberries when they're ripe from my yard, and maybe I'll thrive on that, and maybe I won't thrive on it. It'll be an experiment. But now I know what works, and I know it's easy. And that's the thing, another thing about this diet. This diet is easy. You know, the first 2 weeks, you have some a little bit of carb cravings. But for me, it wasn't so bad because I had already did a lot of high fat stuff, you know, a whole month prior. So when I started, it wasn't too bad. A lot of people say it's bad. And then I had, what do you call it? I had the runs for like 2 weeks. Well, that resolved. And I had intermittently a few times when people say, oh, see, it doesn't work. You had diarrhea again. I'm like, well, I could always track it, like I had too much fat one time or whatever. And besides, people get the runs when they're on the American diet too. It's not like it's caused. I mean, I haven't had the runs for like a long time. You know, I started in May, it's in the end of July. And after the first 2 weeks, I might have had like 2 or 3 times. That's pretty much the average for most people anyhow. But anyhow, I felt good very quickly, you know, and I'm still perfecting this. Still perfecting it because, sorry, I'm breathing a little hard. I'm talking and actually got a weight vest on here. I'm not sure if you can see it. So I'm still perfecting this. Like, for example, there would have been a time that if I ate just plain salt and water, I would have gagged. Well, things change. Your taste buds change, and if I need salt, I can actually bear it really good. And it's just like I can tell I need salt. And that's something that's recently that happened. I didn't have the element. And so I just went back and got salt water when I didn't have the element. And now I had already ordered the element, so I have it. But now I'm not even sure if I need the element. I think it's a good thing to do, like when you're starting out. Because, you know, some they have flavors, make it tasty, and a lot of people in the carnivore space don't like that, but you gotta do what you gotta do. Do I have 0 carbs? Mostly. That would be something I would talk about. Maybe I should break these up and just have like a whole bunch of videos, but I'm not really planning on having a carnivore channel. Might post a video here and there. This is not my ambition. Just kind of sharing my expression. So that's a pretty color vehicle right there. So yes, I do have some carbs for the first month and a half. See, my schedule was at nighttime. I have very wonky sleep patterns. Today I slept into about 11 o'clock and I've been up all day, and I'm gonna be up all night. I work at night. And so I'm gonna get off around, 7:45 to 8 o'clock. I'm gonna get home and I'm gonna be back in bed and hoping to get up and do a walk or do some push-ups or do something like that, something active. And I'm gonna go back to work again. Do 4 days in a row. So 4/12s really mean about, for me, 13, about 13 to somewhere 13 and a half hours at night. And that does bring a lot of challenges. I probably would have better weight loss if I was on the daytime, but it is what it is. So because of my wonky sleep schedule, I do take melatonin, and a lot of people would look down on me for that. And I would encourage you, if you don't work at night, I really don't think you need this. When I have some random days and I work multiple days off and I exert myself at night during the daytime, I do not need melatonin. It, to me, is not habit forming, but I have to go to sleep when it doesn't feel natural to go to sleep. And that's why I'm on it. At first I had one that had like 2 grams of sugar, and I found one who didn't have any grams, but it's artificial crap. I tried to find one that didn't have anything artificial, just straight up melatonin. but I couldn't find one. So now I've taken off the 2 grams, so there's that. I have coffee, so therefore I eat my vegetables. I have coffee. I have thought about stopping coffee. There's loads of people who say, how you doing, sir? There's loads of people who say that they do even better on carnivore without coffee. Maybe if I took the coffee off, maybe I could take the melatonin off. I don't know. But for me, coffee is more than just, with keeping awake, because I actually honestly don't feel like I need it. I don't think I need the caffeine. I have lots of energy. I think it's just such a culture thing. I mean, I literally have had coffee since I was like 6 years old. My parents would get me French coffee, which was pretty much 50% milk or 75% milk and 25% coffee when I was like 6. They called it French coffee. It's very hard for me to let go just culturally. I've always read my Bible and had a sip of coffee. Had coffee going down the road. But the difference is it went from like, I need this coffee, to now it feels like I had coffee and I didn't really need it. So maybe I should try to push it off. If you're a carnivore, let me know in the comments what you think about that. If you even watch this far, I don't know who in the world would watch a video this long of some nobody. So, but looking for a safe place to come up off the road work here. So, let me see. So that's coffee that I have. I mainly put butter in my coffee and blend it up. Bulletproof coffee, tastes great. Tastes like a latte. I don't know why the rest of the world's not doing this. I mean, it's even less calories. You can get a half a tablespoon, which is 50 calories. Or you can go more. I mean, sometimes I'll go 1.5 tablespoons. I've done that too if you want it creamy, if you want a little bit more energy going out the day. But you can get just a half a tablespoon. If it's just like an 8-ounce cup, which is usually I get like 16 ounces. But if it's just like 8 ounces, you could do a quarter of a teaspoon, 25 calories. And you can make that coffee taste like a latte. It's delicious. I don't know why that's not done at every coffee shop around. It's so good. It's just as good as a latte. So, yeah, so I have coffee. On my thing to Tennessee, I mean, it wasn't even a shot. It wasn't even a shot of a shot. But I had a little bit of whiskey. I literally tasted it on my tongue. That's about it. Me and my wife are proposed to drinking some. Very controlled. But we would have one, like a glass of wine at Thanksgiving. And, spiked eggnog at Christmas. But I don't know. Maybe I won't even do it. Maybe it's just something that we got because we're on vacation and I shouldn't have got it. But I haven't even tasted it. I don't even plan on tasting it until I lose all the weight that I have. Then maybe I'll try it, or maybe I won't try it. I don't know. I'm planning on trying it. But it doesn't have a hold on me. Of course, alcohol never had a hold on me either way. But, so, let's see, anything else? Oh, I have mustard sometimes on sausage. And lots of times I'm just having salt. Lots of salt. But I've had some, seasonings like on my food. Like it was so little that you can't even count as a carb. But what I would suggest if you're going to do that is actually cut it all off and just have salt with your, beef, butter, bacon, eggs. And if you want to try something back to see how it affects you, then isolate that thing. So if I want a little bit of oregano on my lamb meat, and I tried it out and it doesn't affect me, then put some oregano on your lamb meat every once in a while. But I would say that you don't need that stuff. I mean, that's one of the things that you can make carnivore a lot less expensive, is if you just really having beef, salt, and eggs. So maybe I'll make another video about expenses. I kind of feel like our groceries are expensive. I do, but I don't feel like they're more expensive now than they were before. My kids do not eat the carnivore diet. I know I'll get a lot of criticism about that from the carnivore community if they see this video. Please be gracious to me if you can. But you know, I'm still losing weight. I mean, if I sat there and I lost, 100 pounds and I'm feeling amazing, then all of a sudden the words that I have for my kids is going to be a lot more effective, because they remember what their daddy used to look like. You remember when their daddy was a little more ornery. They remember when their daddy was, didn't feel good about himself, and now he does. And then maybe they can make that decision on their own. And I would love that. I would love them to do that. But I'm just trying to, if it's going to work, then it needs to work first with me first. So, let me see, what else can I talk about? My walk is almost over. Like I say, it's 4:19 right now. By 5:45 I'll be, heading to work, working all night. So, what did I eat today? Today I had, and I also have hot sauce lately. I'm just now experimenting with hot sauce. I haven't had it most of the time. But today I had a egg white wrap. So it's just egg white. You can buy them at the egg section. And I put minimal amount of cheese and some beef. I had a touch of sour cream. I know that's a lot of people don't have that. You don't need that. And beef. So, yeah, easy. And today I'm experimenting with chicken. I cooked up some ground lamb and some chicken thighs. And I'm experimenting with that and just kind of bring it to work. I don't have a lot of chicken. Most people don't eat a lot of chicken. This is honestly the first time I've added that really in to any consistency. It's not even consistent. I'm just doing this one time. See how my body feels. A lot of people say they feel best on beef. I don't know if that's true for me or not. So, all right. So this is Yard King, the guy who started saying, guys, grow your own fruit and everything like that. And here I am, not even eating fruit. What a waste. So, I still got grapevines. I have multiple fig trees, pear tree, multiple plum trees. And you can't even rely on them because, you have a late frost and boom, all your fruit's dead from the very get-go. So, truck coming. But it just goes to show you, man, the food system is jacked up. And yeah, so I think I will. I have so many more thoughts in my head. It's not even close. I've really thought a lot about this, so I probably will do another video. This is a nice long walk. Maybe have a video talk about some influencers that you should check out. That's been helpful to me. Maybe I will talk about, I don't know, there's a lot of things. So, all right. Like, comment, subscribe. If you were a former person who loved plants and you hate my idea, you can put a thumbs down. That's fine. If you're I actually did the vegan diet. Maybe I'll talk about that one day. But thank you guys. Peace.